Welcome back, everybody, to the Netolic Raid Call Pro League East Division Grand Final. MUFC taking our second game, moving us into a situation where they are on match point, 2-1. This is your official English stream, Netolic TV, Netolic TV. Our official sponsor for this tournament has been Raid Call, and once again, check out Raid Call channel 2013, 2013. Download the program, raidcall.com, RAIDCALL, and come into Raid Call channel 2013. There will be prizes continuing to be given away, as well as the grand prize drawing if the Raid Call channel, I believe it's actually 4,000 now, but if it reaches 4,000 people, there will be a grand prize drawing for TI3 tickets, as well as airfare hotel. You can check out the details of that either on the website or in the Twitch chat, whatever you want. Thank you for joining us. I'm Vickerman, my co-caster El Presidente. And El Prez, what do you make of this extremely early CTY Dragon Knight plus the ZSMJ Jug? Is this what they need?
I don't know. To be honest, with these first three picks, it's hard to really see what VG are planning. With just Dragon Knight and Juggernaut, it's hard to say if they're really going to go for a heavier push or try to drag the game out a little bit longer.
Well, I mean, we have seen this from them before. It's typically just mid-game dominance. It's more of the sort of thing that wins them games, I feel. They put ZSMJ on that mid-game carry, not a sort of... honestly, the hard carry, the anti-mage, it didn't go well for them last time. That may be the last time we see them go for something like an anti-mage in this series. So they most likely put him on the Juggernaut, although the thing is, XTT does play a pretty mean Jug. We could see something like the Juggernaut in the off lane, and then see the Dragon Knight mid and something else in the safe lane.
All possibilities. Honestly,
actually, sorry, now that I think about it, the Jug could go against the Darkseer solo, because Darkseer is probably going to creep cut and just do okay there.
Yeah, that's a very potent possibility. Although, if Darkseer instead tries to just push the lane using the Ion Shells instead, that does pose a little bit of a greater problem for Juggernaut, just because Bleed Fury is on a fairly long cooldown.
That's true.
So.
That's true. Yeah, it's tough to say, but VG, they're definitely going to try to be a little cagey about that. MUFC, meanwhile, they take the Lone Druid again. So, have they had Lone Druid all three games?
Yes, they have.
So that'll be FCFC on that again, and MUFC's draft so far is very, very hard to read, of course. They have these overall strong heroes. The only thing I want to mention here is they've got a solo laner in the form of the Lone Druid and a solo laner in the form of the Darkseer. How does that shake out as far as their lanes go?
Right now, it's possibly a mid Darkseer. Possibly. And the reason why I say I think that would be excellent, just because Darkseer does pose a huge threat to Dragon Knight. Just because Dragon Knight, again, very weak against magical damage, especially in lane. So Darkseer would be pretty potent against him.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And you see, interesting, if MUFC are doing that, then I don't think VG read that, because you see them taking out TA and Quap in the second phase, so both mids that sort of do a lot of pressure onto Dragon Knight. So they clearly don't expect this Darkseer to go mid, but it could... It's IO. It's gotta be, right? It's gonna be the CK IO again from VG. Wow.
It has to be. There is no reason why they wouldn't, because he got through both ban phases. Their fifth pick is available. MUFC cannot pick up the list.
Way.
It does not fit into their lineup.
Can't possibly happen here. Yeah, they have to sort of take countermeasures against this. People that might wonder why we're so kind of agog at this when IO is always a first ban or a first pick in games that you might have watched. IO is vastly rarer in the Asian scene, people. And it's doubly rare for Chinese teams. In fact, VG is the first Chinese team I've seen to deploy the IO more than once. We saw it like a couple times, like Rising Stars used it once. A lot of teams will use it as a very, very vague pocket pick. But VG feel fairly comfortable using it. I mean, we saw them use it to great effect in their last series against Netolic Singapore in the Losers Bracket Final. And here we're probably going to see it again. Smart choice by MUFC picking up this Chen. It's the global heal to try to give the survivability to whoever gets targeted by that CK IO. But this is explosive. This is really, really scary if this engine comes online. And the last time we saw it, it came online in a big way. So Elprez, what's your take on now that this IO pick is online? Have VG secured an advantage with it?
The Chen, yes they have. One, Chen is a very interesting pick. Like, he does give advantages to his team, because if they don't gank the Chen, he'll global heal whoever they are ganking. But Chen himself is a very easy target for Chaos Knight and IO to hunt. So it's an interesting combo. Honestly, it's going to make it very hard for MUFC to play. If they don't five man early, MUFC are going to find a very hard mid game to deal with,
The
especially
other,
with the Juggernaut and the DK. Both of
yeah.
those are actually very good Wisp tethers as well.
Absolutely. Those are great people to teleport over. Juggernaut, in fact, was one of the original intimidating IO tether targets. It was when Skana's Elite were first started to use IO all the time. They really innovated in terms of pushing IO from like sometimes into always in the metagame in the West, and they use Juggernaut more often than almost any other hero to pair with that. My only question is for VG's lanes. Do you think they go aggressive try and try to prey on the fact that Chen needs to sort of pick up creeps, or do they go just with the solo lane Jug in the hard lane?
I say aggressive tri lane. If we look at MUFC's lineup, they don't have a lot of good disable. That said, the Tether Stone will not be long enough against a level one against a Darkseer early on to really let them get the kills on him. So you're looking until at least level 5 that Tether plus the Chaos Bolt will last long enough onto Darkseer that maybe they'll be able to get him killed. But
Yeah.
Darkseer is like a base 6 armor, so
So what's your take on this Luna? Is this because are we actually going to see MUFC play very aggressively early, or is this just
this is a
somebody that
5
can
hero.
respond by casting spells?
No, this is a 5-man hero.
Right. So do you think they're
Luna's
going to
straight
five man much earlier on than we'd see a team typically go?
Yeah, and honestly that's the best situation for them. This is straight up. A Luna pick is a 5-man hero. With the Lunar Blessing, the bonuses that Luna brings to a team fight is absurdly strong. On top of that, with some good Chen creeps, namely the Centaur Khan, the
Sure.
Alpha Wolf,
Sure.
these will make it very, very hard for VG to repel a 5-man push. While VG do have a strong ganking mid-game lineup, like the first lineup from MUFC, they lack a lot of team fight potential.
Right. No, absolutely. So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic. It's going to be MUFC, even though they have some heroes that take a little while to get going, it is imperative to prevent FY from hitting 6 on Wisp and if he on IO. And if he does, it's imperative for them to start 5-manning. So they've picked up a pretty good 5-man lineup, as you mentioned. I mean, Luna bringing the Lunar Blessing is a big deal. Chen can push a lot with the creeps, and he can... Chen, by the time that Lone Druid FCFC has sort of, you know, his level 8, his level 9, that point at which Lone Druid becomes that truly terrifying pushing force, Chen will be well in shape to bring, you know, 3 creeps along and just be able to be very difficult to counter push, because that's what VG really don't have, is that much in the way of counter pushing. They've really just got Dragon Breath for effective wave clearing. Blade Fury is okay, but it's on a cooldown, and Shadow Poison is kind of a joke as far as clearing out creep waves. It takes forever. So if MUFC can pull it together for the push, I gotta say they look pretty good to me. If they don't, though, this is going to be a bloodbath. Let me go ahead and introduce VG real quick. The tri-lane will be composed of Fenrir on the Shadow Demon, FY on the IO, and ZSMJ on this Chaos Knight. Back to the mid-game carries once again. XTT will go up on the Juggernaut in a solo lane to be determined, and CTY in the mid on that Dragon Knight. This VG loves mid Dragon Knight, and they're actually smoked up. So really quickly introduce MUFC before we start the kills.
For MUFC, we're seeing Hontrash playing that Luna. Ling will be playing Chen in the jungle. Winter on the Rubik. I feel like I should yell called it. TFG midding on the Darkseer. And offlaning will be FCFC.
You did call it. Take the props where you get them. Absolutely. He is going mid Darkseer. It will be a fairly intimidating mid. VG may go for something like a dual mid, but I still think it's just going to be the aggressive try. Here we go. They're smoked up. Will they find it? They're actually starting to get de-smoked. We have Dragon Knight and Fenrir. Will they be able to find Winter on this Rubik? He's trying to retreat. Hontrash under the tier 1 tower. Here comes the Chaos Knights on 2 seconds. What an unlucky situation for Winter, and there goes the first blood. XTT picking it up with an auto attack on the Juggernaut, and they're on the board.
Yeah, that's a big kill. It's going to give Juggernaut XCT a good advantage moving into the next lane. He actually got, some regen pulled to him by Fenrir so he could start with boots.
It's pretty smart. I mean, wait, sorry. Onto who's
XCT.
Right. So this is a Juggernaut actually in the solo hard, but with boots he's able to survive a little bit better. That's an interesting choice, certainly.
So, he actually just spends his first gold on a Stout Shield, so...
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to go for that survival. So Stout Shield and boots. Is this enough? Do you think he'll be able to be okay in this lane?
It's hard to say. Lunar Blessing gives so much damage to all of the people in this lane that it could be a problem. Luckily, he won't be going 1v3. He will be going 1v2, and that's a little bit more beneficial for him. Because Ling will be jungling. And Chen generally, unless he gets a Dark Troll Warlord right off the bat, usually doesn't have a lot of kill potential at level 1. Especially because of Juggernaut, who will just spin.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the spin will be very, very useful. The question is whether he cops so much harassment that the spin doesn't even end up saving him.
But for FCFC in this bottom line, this is a nightmare for him. He will not enjoy being 1v3 against Chaos Knight. He will get picked off super easily.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this is really difficult for FCFC. I actually really like, though, that they're having FY, on pulling and stacking him, because he really does need the levels on the Wisp as soon as possible.
Right. Well, honestly, he's going to probably try to, like, clear out these waves in addition to stacking. So, like, I mean, he's doing that thing where your support actually gets some development by clearing out the wave as it dies. So he will get some XP from this. You can see he is freely auto-attacking this lane. Now, a double stack of creeps is going to take out the lane creeps pretty quickly, but still, he should be okay. I don't think this IO will develop that slowly, especially considering there's just no opposition that FCFC can really give to this lane, especially if they manage the bear effectively.
Yeah.
A little bit of mid-creep creep cutting. Darkseer, he'll creep cut anywhere. He doesn't care if it's the narrowest possible corridor. He will cut your creeps, and that's exactly what TFG is doing here. Actually taking 2 tower hits, because, of course, this hallway to cut the creeps in is really, really freaking narrow.
Yeah, it's narrow, and it's not a lot of space between the towers either, so...
It's a tight squeeze, no doubt about it. And the bear coming through, actually, this may be a dead bear. They may be able to pick this off. I think the Soul Catcher coming out. Fenrir, if only had like rank 1 Shadow Poison, it would do it. They're going to rotate CTY. I think a Flame Breath will spell the doom of this bear. Oh, recall. Nice recall, actually, but it does mean he loses that
it wasn't a recall.
Creep stack.
It was a resummon.
Oh, XTT, actually, meanwhile, he dies. They're going to take him down, so a nice net and snare coming out from the Chen Dark Troll Warlord that he was holding on to. And that'll be a kill in the top. So we asked if Juggernaut could survive. It looks like, given the right creep components from Chen, maybe not.
I can't help but feel I should say I called it there too. Because I was only saying, unless he gets like a Dark Troll Warlord, that's not going to happen. Right. And then he gets a Dark Troll Warlord.
That's true. That's exactly
the main reason why is just because the Ensnare does go through BKBs, so that if he Blade Furies, he's stuck. He's dead. It doesn't... I think it gets a spell by Blade Fury, but once you start seeing Chen's chasing after you with Penitence, you're going to be concerned. But Test of Faith, nonetheless, just good. It's just the right-click damage coming out of Han Trash at this point is absurdly high. 74 damage is actually really good at level 3.
Right. And that's something that XTT has no recourse against. I mean, just Scout Shield. Look at how quickly his health falls in this lane. He's doing okay considering, but it's a tough situation for this Darkseer.
I'd love to see a Soul Ring picked up on XCT, just so he could make sure that the Healing Ward, he will always have mana for it. It gives him a little bit of staying power as well, but obviously the Poor Man Shield comes first.
Right. Ooh, nice auto tech. Interesting battle here in the mid. Actually, TFG taking a lot of damage. CTY staying in there. He actually does not use the Dragon Breath, interestingly. So there he goes. He may try to go for another stun here, but the creeps are just too far in. And continuing to just go back and forth. Darkseer with about 26 last hits in this lane. Dragon Knight with only 15. So for the first time in the series, CTY is actually getting outlaned a little bit in this mid. I don't know how much he could have done about this, but it is interesting.
Yeah, it's really a big concern, though, just because Darkseer is so strong against Dragon Knight. Even the Flame Breath, the Brief Fire, it's not that long range, so you usually will still get hit by the Ion Shell, and the Ion Shell just hurts CTY so much. Look at his health. It's just melting.
Right. Yeah, he's really struggling in this lane, just bottle crowing as much as possible, but this is the ultimate bottle crow. Like, there is 0 seconds for anybody else on VG to actually have the crow on them. That is going to go to CTY to keep him up in this mid, and that's just the facts of life. Let's take a look at levels. So actually FCFC having a lot of trouble against this try. So FY Fenrir and ZSMJ effectively keeping Lone Druid completely zoned out. Only level 2. Compared to level 4 for the Juggernaut, as hard as this lane is for XTT, he has managed to survive and get levels. CTY actually in ultimate form, but TFG is on top of him now. CTY is actually taking a lot of damage. There's still 1 creep up. TFG decides not to pursue, so he will peel back just a little bit. Meanwhile, VG just pushing FC now beyond his tier 2 tower as they put pressure on the tier 1. The fortification comes through. Do you think MUFC teleports somebody over here?
Maybe. XCT is in some serious. Oh nope, no troll somewhere. I don't know where it went.
No dark troll, so he's going to. Actually, he's in the
Oh.
trees. They might catch him out. They still have the stun available from the Centaur Conqueror. There's the telekinesis. It drops him down. He's taking a lot of damage, and there we go. The Lunar Blessing to finish it off. Even as CTY finally ekes out the kill over TFG in the mid, so 1 for 1. Meanwhile, the bear dies again for FCFC. He's got the resummon, but man, this is a tough situation. He actually doesn't even use the resummon. There we go. There's the resummon. So the tier 1 for VG and the kill. Traded off for the kill. I gotta say VG favored a little bit there, but MUFC, they're getting their pushing lineup into gear as well. The Skeleton Babies just tanking up this tower. They're going to get the tier 1 here, no question about it. Trying to pressure XTT even heavier. He's still stuck at level 4 as well, so neither solo lane hero having an easy time of it here at all. Who would you say at this point favored a little bit? We gotta talk about the fact that CTY is still level 8. Even with the amount of clever tricks that TFG has been pulling.
Yeah, it's... Actually, I totally missed that CTY is level 8, because TFG is only level 6.
Oh man, I was just reaching to try to get some drinks, and TFG actually coming in. He's going to deal a lot of damage to Fenrir. There's the disruption defensively, just onto Fenrir. Will he get away from the surging Darkseer? The tether to give him a little more speed. There's actually the first down from the tether. There's the Chaos Nest on. That's 3 seconds. I think Fenrir survives here, and they get a second kill. So TFG and FCFC, meanwhile MUFC getting kills. This just always kills on both sides of the map. Really punishing for a caster. XTT taking his 3rd death of the game. So both solo lane heroes still being kept down. FCFC actually catching up a tiny bit. He's halfway through level 3. XTT still stuck before the level 5 mark. He's going to get some XP here because MUFC have peeled off this lane. But meanwhile, TFG going too far in on the Darkseer, trying to get the kill on Shadow Demon and actually copping a death. And that's going to continue to make this middle lane kind of disadvantaged for them. And I don't know. What do you think about the game right now?
You can't really let C2I get free from this. Mid tier 1 is going down. Like, it's going to happen. But it's actually going to get denied. I thought it was going to get killed because...
No, it's a deny.
Yeah, I thought C2I was tanky enough that he really could have just sat there for a little bit longer and gotten the kill, but... I guess he was a little bit concerned.
Right, absolutely.
We do see Ocula picked up on Huntrash though.
Right. Do you think he'll go the full Luna like super carry build with the drums first before he gets anything like BKB?
Either drums or I could even see guys from Dota 2.
He means go Dota. That's
Dota Beyond.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, go Dota. Yeah. Yeah. So I could see drums. I think personally an early Mantis style might be important. Just because you could sort of use it to destroy. Oh,
meanwhile, Huntrash getting caught out. That's the first kill onto that Luna, and that's a critical one. He builds out as much of his drums as possible beforehand, but that's not even the relocate regime yet. That's just a straight-up rotation. And they get the kill on Luna. Here they go for Ling. Will they catch him out? It looks like they may. No, they go to the high ground. Did they not see them? They're trying to pincer around. We will get the Reality Rift coming through soon. ZSMJ trying to decide to attack. He actually gets telekinesis. The Entangle comes out, but Ling will drop very, very quickly. Actually, FY being punished just a tiny bit. He finally hits the level 6. He actually has Relocator. Here comes CTY. The stun out on Winter, the Dragon Breath, and he is dead. Meanwhile, the Eclipse from Huntrash player enough to get Chaos Knight. And actually, it's only a 2-for-2 trade after killing that Luna. So they lose Chaos Knight and Io. They do find the level 6, but MUFC, an effective counter rotation, does pick them up a couple kills. VG were threatening to just roll there, and a smart movement by TFG and Huntrash with the Eclipse coming through. And that's a little bit of levels for FCFC as well. Now halfway through level 5, finally some breathing room for the solos now that the respective tri-lanes have just decided to go all in. And MUFC pressuring the tier 1 tower. It's going down fairly quickly. They do have 2 Chen creeps on it. Here come rotations. Here comes the TPs from VG. There's the stun. There's the relocate. Huntrash player already on the ground. Ling gets stunned out by the Dragon Knight. One more Dragon Breath will do it. No mana, but the Blade Fury will. And Winter, he's getting oppressed. FY with the last hit. Pulls off the tether at the last second to keep CSMJ into the fight. And VG, that's a 10-5 lead. MUFC's 5-man Dota, not quite in effect yet. They just don't have all the elements. And TFG not there for that fight, and that's a quick 3 kills on the board for VG. You could just see the relocate coming through already.
Yeah, it's just the impact ZSMJ already has. He has hit that crucial level 8 with that drums, where his dear FYIO buddy is level 6. So these are like the crucial levels for ZSMJ, and they're actually going to go on to FC right here.
Yeah, they are. They are going to try. Here comes the tether. This is a lot of movement speed. FCFC, nice attempt to creep block, but no. The quick kill coming out on him. He tried to use the bear to body block, but he couldn't micromanage getting away at the same time. His speed wouldn't allow for it anyway. This is a fast Chaos Knight, even with the power treads. It's 400 speed before the tether, and with the tether, there's no way that a lone druid is getting away. It's very, very tough for MUFC now to find their positioning. They do have the tier 1 tower up in the top, but does that give enough space to get these heroes in a shape that they can actually 5-man?
It's the real problem. The problem is that FC is horrendously underfarmed. Actually doesn't have the bear right now because of that last death. Right, so they got a 5-man, but many parts of their 5-man are so weak that they can't really do anything about it. And what we're seeing is that because VG have such a massive level advantage on the DK and the Chaos Knight in particular, in comparison to MUFC's carries, that they're having problems even fighting 4v4, 5v5.
Fenrir? No. Yeah, and all they're getting is tower trades, the tier 2 for the tier 1. Not a favorable trade, both on map control or on gold perspectives. You get more gold. And Ling is stuck with really subpar creeps here too, unfortunately. Nothing like a Dark Troll or a Centaur Conqueror. Wild Wing is good, but it's a little better early on, and the Satyr Tormentors do some magic damage, but he would love some form of lockdown, and that's exactly what he doesn't have here. So yeah, I don't know. Do you think they can just 5-man push, or does this level deficit mean they still have to find a bunch of farm before they even consider it?
The problem is, even if they look to get farm, they're not going to be able to make up the level deficit. The second that VG see that they're trying to solo farm to get some XP, relocate dead. The problem is when you look at MUFC's lineup, none of their players are really tanky enough to survive a short brawl with Chaos Knight. They don't have the disables either to really ward him if they were to show up either.
Right.
So
they don't, and their map vision right now, they just don't know what's happening. They have a ward here, so they know about the Ancients, but it's such a tough situation. VG is pressuring them so heavily, and MUFC will really have to show some colossal poise to make it out of this hole that they find themselves in. It's not insurmountable. I mean, it's only about 4k gold, 5k experience, but it's more the overall strategic perspective right now. And MUFC, they're smoking up. They want to try to counter this. They know where VG are right now, and that's a luxury they can ill afford to pass up. VG are going for the tier 2. If MUFC could come from behind, the problem is VG are now clumped up as well. Here comes Winter. He's desmoked. They will get the lift on Fenrir. Maybe. No! Winter might get caught out. The telekinesis, but he actually gets Omni Slash down very, very quickly, and Han Trash is really suffering right now. He does get the Eclipse off, but no, the Luna's on the ground. ZSMJ actually is defensively disrupted, and that's a very well-timed defensive disruption right there. TFG, he's stunned up. He might get picked up just by the Dragon Knight damage. Yes, and the relocate will take ZSMJ back so he can heal up. And oh no, this was another disastrous fight for MSC. No kills, and once again, half the team on the ground, including that critical Luna. He's trying to build up to BKB, but he's nowhere near it. He would need BKB to survive this onslaught. There's so many stuns. There's so much damage. And VG, it looks like they may be continuing to represent. Yes,
yep,
it's actually a GG from Winter, so not one to keep games going on longer than they need to. Winter is going to concede the fact that VG kind of just outplayed them here. MUFC went in with a strategy that they tried to adapt their 4th and 5th picks. They tried to deal with the fact that they knew that they would be facing the Chaos Knight IO, but in the end, it just overcomes them. They managed to get it. They get the kills they need, they get the advantage, and they win. Elprez, we're going to a game 5.
You know, it's not a best of 5 unless there are huge stakes. As in one game to win them all. But phenomenal play coming out of VG. It really was a clutch with Chaos Knight combo that MUFC was just completely unprepared to deal with.
Right, yeah. I think it came as a surprise in the 4th pick, but that's what came through, and this is a pocket pick that VG have that other Chinese teams simply have not practiced, and it looks like it's one of their better combos. Very, very strong play here, and they'll tie it up. We're going to a deciding game 5, Elprez. I mean, I couldn't be happier that at the end, 2 of probably the 3 best teams that we had in the tournament, just on pure skill, duking it out and going to a decisive final game in the Netolic Raid Call Pro League. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Our sponsor is Raid Call Channel 2013. Check it out. We still have giveaways going. We still hope to maybe get a couple thousand more people up into that channel so we can have that grand prize giveaway. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching, and we're going up into Game 5, the decisive final game of the Netolic Raid Call Pro League Grand Finals East Division, coming right up. Thanks for watching.